Hey drifters, DoriJunkie here, back with another DoriJunkie's car review. And as you can see, this time up it's the giant killing Asura M1. Based on the GT86 in real life, or the Subaru BRZ. Designed from the factory to be a drift car. It's a very popular platform around the world, used in a lot of drift series, albeit with an engine transplant. But we'll see how she goes stock and with all the swaps. A refresher on the rating system on how she works. I'll be rating him on customization, ease of tuning and performance to get a grand total at the end. So we'll start off with customization. Body kits are worth 1 and body styles are worth 2. Now when you first get the Asura M1, this is how she looks. Pretty plain Jane. We've been used to that shape now for a while. They have just updated it in real life. I don't know whether they'll put it in the game or not. We'll see how we go. First up is the Missile, which is just a full out race kit. Wide fenders, big wing, big front air intakes, bash bar on the rear. Full race. Like I said, no headlights. Oil cooler on the outside to go down to the slide performance. More of a street style body kit. Big front bar, air intakes. Subtle side skirts and just rebar. Doesn't look like this widen the arches at all. Vented hood. Next down the CBW. Again, just subtle front bar replacement, subtle side skirts. Doesn't look like the sides are maybe pumped a little bit. No, a little bit. Big rear spoiler. Nice set of wheels. Them ones look good on this car. R&T. Very Rocket Bunny-esque. Over fenders, front bar, spoiler. It's not a bad looking kit on that car at all. Down to the D-Master. A bit more of aggressive styling. Some canards on the front there. Some air intakes on the side. Big rear spoiler. Very aero focused. Down to the ProFlow, which puts the Mercedes AMG front end on it. So we'll class this as a style. Go around, it looks like it's just pretty Rocket Bunny-esque as well. The fenders, big wing from the low mount rear wing. But yes, changes it up to that front end. Not everybody's cup of tea that, but something different anyway in the game. Not bad at all. So as usual, I'll show you what I've done to mine. Put a bit of a different spin on this one. You've got the tiger on the side there. Sort of made it as real life as possible. Plenty going on there. Got a fake sponsorship on the car. It all works well, ties in well together. The big GFC logo across the front windscreen. Yeah, so not a bad one at all. So we'll tally up customization. So like I was saying, that ProFlow one with the AMG front end, that's classed as a style, so that's worth 2. So all up, comes to a total of 7, which is not too bad. I really did think there'd be a few more parts in here available for this, even though it is a pretty popular car in the drift series and aftermarket scene. There is a few more body kits I thought they could have put in, but it is what it is and that's what it's got. So we'll move on to ease of tuning. This is how easy it drifts pro drift free without any changes at all, and how many changes I've got to make. So we'll just have a look here. This is the pro drift free settings as you would get it. It's got 453 horsepower, 494 newton meters of torque, 1136 kilo and a 0 to 60 of 4.1 seconds. But that is with the sports tyres fitted, which I feel this horsepower range is probably what you're looking for. The semi-slicks will be just a bit too grippy for it, I feel. But we'll have a look anyway. So we'll go to the track. Like I said, this is exactly how you get it pro drift free. This is how they give it to you. I haven't changed anything at all. So we'll just go through. Have a quick spin straight up with the sports tyres on it and see how she goes. The gears aren't too bad. unlike a lot of them, but it is, yes, it really does just want to loop around on itself. I have to, yep, no, it's coming around. Yes, this thing is not going to just drift straight out of the box. We're obviously going to have to do a few more setting changes other than the gears. Yes, it just really wants to come around on itself when it gets to a certain point, and that's the point right there. So we'll go to the settings. So we'll quickly do the engine, give it all the power it can possibly have, fix the gears. But I feel this is not going to be enough, like some cars. You're going to actually have to change some suspension settings as well, but I'll just get these gears as close to as good as possible, or to my liking. And we'll just see if we have to make any more modifications. It's still stable to a certain degree, and then it just wants to come around on itself. Alright, so straight up, we'll look at the wheels and tyres. Probably one size larger than I'd like, so we'll get an 18s, 35 series. The Ackerman angle. Ooh, spring size first, we'll just do adjust for the wheels. Put it around, but the Ackerman angle feels a bit high on this. Get it sitting nice. It's got to sit even. You can sort of see before the back sitting a bit low than the front, and the car needs to sit even. So just leveled out the ride height. Just fix up all these other settings. Ackerman angle is way too high, so it was just coming around on itself. Sway bars were too low, so now we've got a bit more stability and less Ackerman angle. Bit of tyre size, now I can really, whoop. I pulled it out of the drift, but no, she still needs a bit more work. So we'll go back in. Shorten the gears up, they were a touch long. See if that gives us the wheel speed to be able to pull this out of a big angle drift. Feels a little bit better. Yeah, it feels a lot better. So gearing can make a big difference. It's not always in your suspension. It could be sometimes in your gearing. You need sounds funny, you need the wheel speed to match the angle of drift. You can't. It sounds weird, but after a while, yeah, of playing, I've sort of learned wheel speed is very important. Especially if you want to do big angle drifts and pull the car back out of it. You can see it's just, yeah, feels a lot more comfortable now. Could probably make a couple of slight more changes. So I did make a bunch of changes at once there without testing them all individually, but almost got this pretty spot on. I will get it spot on. It's sort of, I do have this in the car in the workshop with all my tunes under the Dori Ultimate tune, the one I get to. It is there to buy. This car is a little pocket rocket, like I mentioned at the start, the giant killing Asura M1. You'll see why I call it the giant killer later on. But this is stock motor without a swap. Admittedly, it's on sports tyres. You can get a slick tune in it, but it will take a bit more tuning of the suspension and definitely the gearing. The gearing is very important when you're putting the slick tyre on to get it not too bouncing off, not too much bouncing off the rev limiter, and struggling to actually build the revs up. It's really hard to get it there, but ease of tuning, like I said, there is a bit of work to this car. It wasn't just the engine and a transmission adjustment and she was fine to go like some of them are. This car will make you work for it, but once you do get it, it is a pretty decent drifter. It will, you will be happy with it, but I'm still going to give it a 5 out of 10 because there was a few changes I did have to make to actually get it to drift comfortably around the track. This car is a special only car. Like I said, you won't find it in the showroom at the moment. It is offered only, so it is sort of a pay to play, but I thought it would be a bit easier to drift straight up, but it's not. But once you do get it, it is quite good. So next up is performance. We run the stock motor with the Dori Ultimate tune in it and all the swaps, and we'll see which one's the best. Real refresher course, the Springstone ones where we go. 19k for 10 points, 18k for 9 points, all the way down to 11k for 2 and 10k for 1. But first up, we've got the stock motor with the Dori Ultimate tune in it. Now fully wound up, it's got 547 horsepower, 494 newton meters of torque, still 1136 kilos, but 3.6 0 to 60. Or that is on sports tyres. I did try a semi-slick tune, but it just didn't have enough to comfortably drift around the track as it does with the sports tyres. We just cracked the R1 score, 16,000. It's not bad for a stock motor tune, especially a tier 2 car. To hit the R1 score on Springstone is pretty good feat. Like I said, but you will have to spend a lot of time tuning it to get it right. But it's very worth it in the end. Alright, next up, we'll move on to the 7-litre swap. So this one gives us 838 horsepower, 1,000 newton meters of torque, 1160 kilos, a little bit heavier than stock, but a 3.10 to 60 with the slick tyre on it. So a lot of good figures there, so we'll see how we go. There we go, 19,000, over 19,000, so that's a 10-point run there from the 7-litre. One of the few 7-litre swaps in the game to actually hit the 10 points on the Springstone 1 challenge. So it's, like I said, this car is a giant killer. With these swaps, it is awesome. So we'll move on. Next up, we've got the 3-litre. We've got 811 horsepower, 915 newton meters of torque, 1,200 kilos, so a bit heavier again, but a 0 to 60 of 3.1 seconds with the slick tyre fitted. So there's pretty good figures for this car, so we'll see how we go. Again, a 10-point run over 19,000 with the 3-litre this time. Like I said, not a lot of cars have made it with 2 swaps over the 10-point range. So next up is 6.2 litre, 865 horsepower, 865 newton meters of torque, 1150 kilos, so lighter than the other swaps, but not as light as factory, and 0 to 60 at 3.1 again. This is actually my personal favourite swap, so we'll see how we go. We've cracked 20,000. Only one other car to do that, and that's the Blackjack X22. And not only did it crack the 20,000, it actually beat the Blackjack X22. So not a mean feat. Like I said, this car is a giant killer. I've used it in silver DP and bronze DP, but silver DP I've taken down many X22s with this car in this swap. So we'll tally it up. I said stock motor 16,322. That's not bad for a stock motor, especially a tier 2 car. That is pretty awesome actually. And all the swaps hit over 19,000, and 6.2 going 20,000. So it's not a 10-point run, that's an 11-point run there, right there, which bumps it up a little bit more. But like I said, any of the swaps in this car, and it is awesome. Even in the bronze DP, the 7 litre won't go, but the two other swaps, the 3 litre and the 6.2, I use it often, and they are killer. Even in silver DP, I love the 6.2 litre. So if you see me in a silver DP in this car, it's going to be tough to beat me. So like I said, so the stock motor got 7, the 6.2 got 11 out of 10. Not only did it hit 19,000, it hit 20,000. It's actually a mean feat in itself. So 18 out of 20 for performance. So like I said, this car is all about performance. It goes like nothing else once you get a swap into it. So there's the results. So customization, ease of tuning, performance. Like I said, ease of tuning sort of let it down there. A total of 30, which is not bad. It makes the top 10 overall just, but like I said, with the DP leaderboard, it is a new leader. Not only did it hit the 20,000, but it beat the Blackjack, which is, you know how OP that car is. So like I said, new leader in the drift leaderboard, puts the Blackjack down the second, pushes out the Atlas GT, and like I said, down the bottom, number 10 on the overall leaderboard, pushed out the Horizon GT. But like I said, that's how it goes. Like I said, I can't stress enough how good this car is once you get a swap into it. It's average with the stock motor, but awesome with the swap. Alright guys, I'm DoriJunkie, and I'll catch you on the track.